An alarming new update from Google that hasn't yet made headlines has suddenly put Chrome's 2.6 billion users at risk of surveillance, manipulation and abuse. If you're one of those users, this nasty new surprise just gave you a reason to quit. Chrome has serious issues when it comes to protecting your security and your privacy. The world's leading browser has issued one urgent fix after another this year, as high-risk exploits have been found in the wild, and just a few weeks ago, Google finally admitted it had accidentally allowed millions of users to be secretly tracked. Google says it wants to change, to put your privacy first, that web tracking is now out of control and has resulted in an erosion of trust. But as DuckDuckGo warns, it's all noise until Google actually agrees to collect less data and do less behavioral targeting. The latest tracking nightmare First, Google has ignored security warnings and launched a new Chrome API to detect and report when you're idle, i.e., not actively using your device. Apple warns this is an obvious privacy concern, and Mozilla that it's too tempting an opportunity for surveillance. Google, though, isn't listening, reinforcing its fairly narrow use case while staying silent on these warnings. Signals like this would be very useful to a malicious site, or script, that wanted to learn patterns. Vivaldi agrees, telling me, "We are not happy with the privacy implications of this API, since it can be abused for behavioral tracking, or the fact that it can be abused to know about when you meet. There are privacy implications that a user cannot be expected to realize." If this release of a controversial Chrome tracking technology despite industry warnings sounds familiar, that's because we saw the same with FLoC earlier this year. Google was warned that its attempt to anonymize users while Google refuted any such claims and secretly enrolled millions of users into a trial, before quietly admitting later that those warnings had come true, that it had made the risks of tracking worse. DuckDuckGo warns that idle detection is another example of Google adding an API that has poor privacy properties to the web without consensus, and in this case in the face of active dissent from other browser vendors.